We always hear about the success that people have when licensing their inventions. After all, it's what we need to really feel inspired and believe that we can achieve it too. But what about rejection? Isn't that part of the process also? Stick around to hear how I went from no's to go's with 2 examples from real-world licensing. Hi, Lisa Lloyd here with more valuable tips, tricks, and strategies to optimize and accelerate your invention licensing business success. YouTube is an awesome free way to learn, and you can support me making more free videos like this when you like, subscribe, and leave comments below. We rarely hear about the rejection that inventors suffer on the path to licensing. The reality is that rejection was baked into the process for me. I had a sales background when I was young, so I understood that I would get a no sometimes, but it was a numbers game. If I had a good product or service to sell, I just needed to find the right customers for it. My process for licensing, though, is a little different. There is an additional challenge. The stakes are higher because there are typically less than 10 companies that have big enough distribution in a product category to create a significant enough royalty earning for me. And a short list meant fewer chances to get it right. The good news was that I only needed one to say yes. Look, I've done well licensing all of my inventions. I'm especially excited about my most recent deal with Conair, Poppets. It just launched and it's already made the bestseller list on Walmart.com, and they aren't even in all the stores across the country yet. But did you know that I showed it to Goody first and they passed on it? I learned a lot from that call. I was pitching it as an alternative to jaw clips, but I didn't think I needed to say that. I thought it was implied in the demonstration video. When they turned it down, they said, and I quote, "We're looking for something to replace jaw clips." They didn't see it. So you better believe that I made it crystal clear when I went on and called Conair later. And of course, they got it. I didn't crawl into a corner and lick my wounds after being rejected by Goody or become crippled by that rejection and just give up. Instead, I learned from that conversation and I improved the next presentation to win the licensing deal. Okay. This is where tough mama love comes in. You have to be resilient when you get rejected in any business dealings. Otherwise, just get out of the game. What's really interesting is that I had a similar challenge in my first invention, the French twister. Again, I contacted Goody first, but this time they were very interested and immediately took it back to their team to validate the idea. Once they had gone through the entire process of vetting my product internally and sending me a contract, after negotiating the terms, I signed an agreement and sent it in for them to execute in return. Then, crickets. I think it was a couple of months that went by from not hearing back, and you can only imagine how my mind went wild thinking that they may have changed their mind, or worse, they were knocking it off altogether. But then I got a call from the VP of marketing telling me that they were just acquired by Newell Rubbermaid and they were being Newellized, meaning that they were no longer going to do business the way that they had, and my contract was no longer on the table. I was devastated. I was teetering on quitting myself. I remember that I couldn't help thinking that maybe it just wasn't in the cards for me. Remember, this was my very first invention. I put the whole thing down and just focused on my job. But a few months went by and my mother called and said that she saw a new company at Kmart called Scunsy. They had just a few SKUs in the store, but they were on their way to stardom with the scrunchie. I immediately called them and spoke with the president of the company, who told me to overnight my sample. He even gave me a FedEx number, which really blew my mind. Within just a few weeks, I had signed contract that included my first $20,000 check, and it was the beginning of a whole new life. Are you stuck in the rejection black hole? Let me know in the comments below where you're stuck and I'll see if I can help. Look, this is a business and you do need to know the practical steps to take, but you also need a personal reserve of resilience when you try new things. There is a learning curve and external conditions and circumstances that you just don't have control over. So remember these 2 things. First, you have got to be continuously learning. Every failure is a learning opportunity, and if you watch enough of my videos, you've heard me say, I've learned more from my failures than I have from my successes. And second, you have to be adaptable. Make a plan and work it. But use that same innovative spirit that you use to create a new product in the world to also creatively adjust your plans as new information becomes available to you. Being able to pivot and adapt is critical. Sometimes even the original idea needs to be changed to succeed. And those no's will turn into go's with that in mind. Rejection taught me resilience. Each setback made me stronger and more determined. If you're feeling stuck and confused anywhere on the Inventors journey, then book a free call with me using the link below and find out how you can invent, protect, and license your ideas like a pro. Or just drop your questions in the comments below. I read and answer every question. And if you want more like this, please smash that notification bell to be the first to know whenever I post a new video. Dare to dream and imagine what's possible when powered by innovation.